Welcome to another One Piece discussion video. Wano arc has been one of the best arcs in One Piece so far, but despite that, I can't help but feel a little bit disappointed with a lot of stuff that has been happening with one character in this arc, with a lot of their interactions and fights throughout the entirety of it. And this is despite a lot of hype that's been built up for them since their first appearances before, during, and after the time skip, and that's Basil Hawkins. In this video, I'm going to talk about the hype, what I thought about the hype, the disappointments, and his flaws. When we first see Basil Hawkins, he is this very calm and stern demeanor person. He has this noble aura around him, and he's well mannered as he's apologizing to this waiter. We also see that he has a significantly high bounty. It's not as high as Eustace or Law, but it is up there, and it's not around the bare fringes like Bonnie's is. When we see him interacting with Kizaru, he seems to have this very stoic and level-headed reaction despite how precarious and dangerous the situation he's in. There is one of the three admirals of the Navy standing in front of him, about to kick him at the speed of light, and he is unbothered by any of it. We also see during the time skip when he's fighting Brownbeard, he does not appreciate jokes. He's not about BS. He's not about playing games or beating around the bush. He massacred Brownbeard's crew and he left Brownbeard a cripple. As we see in Punk Hazard, he needs to have animal limbs to move around. And we see that Basil Hawkins is still somewhat on his grind. He's not making big moves. He's not making big announcements or getting out there in trouble. He's forming an alliance with Eustace Kid and Scratchman of Pooh. And up until that point, I felt like Basil Hawkins had a lot going for him, right? He had a significantly high bounty. He had a very interesting devil fruit, and he formed an alliance with two other seemingly powerful supernovas to take out a Yonko. There was a lot of potential for him plot-wise. There was a lot of potential for his character. There was a lot of potential for his devil fruit. Here's where the disappointment comes. The alliance gets folded as quickly as it was formed when Kaido drops out of the sky. And this is not the alliance's fault. Mostly. I feel like when you form an alliance to take down a Yonko, you should be ready to actually fight a Yonko. It's just ironic that they didn't get the Yonko that they wanted to fight. However, they were doomed to fail from the start because Scratchman of Pooh was a rat from the inside. Eustace Kid and Killer got folded by Kaido, and Basil Hawkins didn't even bother to fight. He played it smart and just decided to accept the new status quo and become a subordinate under Kaido. Which, to be fair, no one can fault him for that, right? When Kaido is literally falling out of the sky and we get his introduction, he is hailed as one of the strongest creatures on air, land, and sea. In a 1v1, you always bet on Kaido. It didn't matter how many straw men Basil Hawkins would have brought to that fight, he was going to lose. During Wano arc so far, we've seen him fight Zoro and Luffy, Zoro having a pretty significant upper hand. But to be fair, Zoro has always had a significant upper hand and has always managed to low to mid diff a lot of people that he's fought. No one has seemingly pushed Zoro to that limit the way we want them to push Zoro to that limit throughout this entire time skip, right? It always feels like Zoro is just holding something back and that Zoro can beat almost anybody that he fights. So there's that. We see that Basil Hawkins fights Law, almost subdues him in the manga with Sea Stone Nails. In the anime, we see a more extended fight and we see that Law, I think around the second time, is having Basil Hawkins more on the back pedal. And Basil Hawkins is really struggling to deal with Law and his devil fruit and some of the techniques that Law uses. We see later on, after Basil Hawkins manages to jail Law, that Law manages to escape, overwhelm Hawkins, and he gets interrogated. That's a very disappointing moment, you know? To see one of my favorite supernovas just kind of get, brutalized and interrogated by Law. I mean, Then we see later on that Basil Hawkins is fighting Killer, and Killer is seemingly doing good, pushing Hawkins to his last reserves of straw men in the fight. And Basil Hawkins is still at his limit. Killer is ready to go, right? What I feel is disappointing is that a lot of these fights, Basil Hawkins is on the back pedal. And despite his very interesting Devil Fruit ability, it does not seem to play nearly as important a role as we think. Now, I'm going to get into the flaws of Basil Hawkins. He's over reliance on the tarot cards and fate and probability and chance. With Basil Hawkins, he has a very nonchalant approach to fighting. And this is often based on his cards. This is often based on his readings and what he draws. He tends to base things on whether people survive or not, or whether there's a shadow of death on people, or, whether he will survive or they will survive an encounter. And this gives this nonchalant approach, as well as his Devil Fruit ability, to transfer damage onto other people. This makes it so he doesn't feel the urgent need to dodge or block attacks. He just tanks attacks. He just eats the attacks like it's candy. And he doesn't really care how many straw men he has to go through. And the problem that we see in a good bit of his fights is that there is a limit to how many straw men he can bring to a fight. And he begins to run out of straw men. And once he reaches his limit to straw men, the only saving grace that Basil Hawkins has, and this is as we've seen with Law, and as we're seeing with Killer, it is using his opponent's crewmen and loved ones as straw men to prevent them from attacking him. Now, while this is a very villainous and antagonistic thing to do, and, we should be applauding him as an antagonist, it is a cowardly thing to do as a fighter. And maybe you're going to be fighting somebody that just does not care who they are killing, right? We see after he runs out of straw men, he gets folded. We see this with Kizaru. When Kizaru literally lights up his torso and gets rid of all the straw men and shoots him with a laser through the torso, he can't take it. To be fair, and I'm trying to be fair, a lot of people can't take a laser from Kizaru to the stomach. Nobody. Marco couldn't take it. God forbid other characters couldn't take it. Kizaru's lasers are pretty damn powerful, right? Even X Drake couldn't take it. Or, maybe it was like a pacifista. A pacifista shot X Drake, and, X Drake in dinosaur form just folded. He couldn't take it. So maybe we're just kind of, maybe that's not fair for Basil Hawkins. The thing is, what if, and this was something another YouTube commenter said in another video that I saw and I read, and I want to point it out here. What if someone is using a sea stone blade or bullets? Can he transfer the damage away, or is he just going to straight up take that damage? Basil Hawkins reminds me of Cracker that Luffy fought. And Cracker is the epitome of a glass cannon. He has a lot of damage output. He has a lot of speed, a lot of power. He was able to keep up with Gear 4 of Luffy and even overwhelm Gear 4 of Luffy. And if it wasn't for Nami and her weather being able to allow Luffy to use the biscuit soldiers as food and fuel him, and allow Luffy to redirect Cracker's own strength and power back at him, then Cracker would have won that, right? But Cracker admitted that he just can't take damage. And I just think that Basil Hawkins' over-reliance on his Devil Fruit's ability to transfer pain and damage from himself makes him a very, very lazy fighter. He doesn't bother to fight. He doesn't bother to be proactive. He doesn't bother to go on the full-on offense. He doesn't bother to dodge or even try to block things. The only times that he does block a couple of attacks is just here and there. But for the most part, he allows himself to eat hits that he doesn't need to hit. That he doesn't need to eat. And I think in a fight between two equally skilled people, the ability to take less damage than the other person is very crucial. Sometimes that ability to transfer pain and damage away is very crucial for trades. If you're charging at the other person, they're charging at you, and you both have your swords out and you're going to stab the other person, being able to have that ability to transfer the damage away is crucial. But if you've already eaten like 8 or 9 hits in that fight and you're out of straw men, then it doesn't matter. And at that point, you have nothing to do but to take the damage, and you can't take it. Basil Hawkins has shown he's not that guy. You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. I know the guy, and you're not that guy. Zoro's that guy. Zoro can take pain. Basil Hawkins, no, I don't think so. Another thing that I feel was disappointing, or, I don't think is more of a flaw, but it's definitely a disappointment, is the fact that his devil fruit is a paramecia type devil fruit. When I first saw Basil Hawkins, I was under the impression that it was a human mythical model voodoo doll, right? We have Chopper, who ate the human fruit. We have Sengoku, who has the human Buddha, right? So why not a voodoo doll? Or maybe, he had a Logia devil fruit that allowed him to transform into straw. I felt like that would have been interesting. I felt like it was a missed opportunity in the sense that they could have given him a mythical Zoan devil fruit, and that would have set him apart from the other supernovas aside from X Drake. X Drake has an ancient Zoan devil fruit, and that's great and all, but a mythical Zoan devil fruit would have really set Basil Hawkins apart, and it would have explained a lot of versatility that we see with Basil Hawkins devil fruit. He can summon a straw avatar and use his cards to basically affect his troops. He can transform into a scarecrow. He can transform his sword into a bunch of straw. He can basically create voodoo dolls that will transfer damage from himself onto other people that are linked to the voodoo dolls. How can all of this just be explained with straw is beyond me. How? A voodoo doll would have made more sense. Mythical Zoan voodoo doll would have just made more sense. It would have given him that cool factor. And honestly, I just felt like the potential for Basil Hawkins, Eustace Kid, and Scratchman of Pooh, it was going up. But then the moment that they became subordinates to Kaido, it just tanked. Just absolutely tanked. And I felt like instead of them having a potential plot point where they would come into conflict with Luffy over their conflicting alliance goals to take down Shanks, Luffy being close to Shanks, Luffy would probably have to fight them. It would be an alliance versus alliance type of conflict. That would have been an interesting arc in and of itself. We could have had more time and more of a space to elaborate on the uniqueness of different supernova crews. Basil Hawkins, his crew, Eustace Kid, his crew, Scratchman of Pooh and his crew. Scratchman of Pooh is a rat. Fuck rats. But it would have just been interesting, man. And I just feel like it's wasted because the alliance is dead. Eustace has no interest in, resuming any alliance. And Basil Hawkins just really looks like a weasel right now, He looks like a really big weasel. And yeah, I just feel like it's a wasted opportunity. It's just a wasted character. What do you guys think about Basil Hawkins? Do you think he's a wasted character? Do you think that things could have been better for Basil Hawkins? What would you have changed about Basil Hawkins' story, or like the events or things that has happened in Wano? What were outcomes that you were looking for? I think some people were kind of predicting or hoping that he would join Luffy's alliance. And I think it is definitely a missed opportunity for him to not have joined Luffy's alliance. I think Basil Hawkins, from a combative standpoint, is not a good individual fighter. He's not a good personal combatant in a one-on-one scenario. He is a good commander. He would make a pretty decent commander. His Devil Fruit ability, at least to summon a straw man and then use his tarot cards and the readings that he pulls to either bolster his troops or confuse the enemy, would be very good in a long or in large scaled war, but not in a one-on-one battle situation. And like I said, a lot of missed opportunities for Basil Hawkins. I felt like he could have got better portrayal. And Honestly, out of the entire Wano arc, if somebody surprised me, I would say that it's Killer. I really wasn't looking too highly on Killer. I was looking down at him, honestly. I just didn't see the point of him being a supernova. I thought he was just kind of lame. I just thought, well, the dude only has like spinning blades. What's the big deal, you know? But seeing his performance against Big Mom, seeing his performance against Kaido, seeing his performance against Basil Hawkins, seeing him as Kamazo against Zoro, it just made me have more respect for Killer as a character. And especially the stuff that he's had to go through from an emotional and psychological standpoint as well. And Basil Hawkins just doesn't have that depth to him that Killer has had added to him this entire arc. We don't know crap about Basil Hawkins except that he's a rat, like Scratchman of Pooh, but an unwilling rat. So that's all I gotta say for this video. If you agree with what I say, like the video, subscribe, tell me about something that you think you want me to talk about and discuss in another One Piece discussion video. Bye.